Hello everyone, this is Andrew from Crown Academy of English. Today we are doing a lesson about useful expressions with the word just. So, in this lesson you will learn 6 useful expressions with the word just. So here they are: just in time, just in case, just a second, just my luck, it's just one of those things, and I'm just looking. So let's start with this one. Just in time. So this means to do something at the last possible time, or to do something immediately before a deadline. And it can also mean to do something immediately before the start of something, or immediately before the end of something. So it's immediately before something important. Okay? So here's an example. A concert is due to start at 8 o'clock. And Mark and Jane arrive at the concert at 7:55. So 5 minutes, they arrive 5 minutes before the beginning of the concert. So we say they arrived just in time. They arrived just in time. So they arrived immediately before a deadline, or before the beginning of something important. Okay, at the last possible time. Mark arrived for the interview just in time. Okay, so perhaps the interview was at 11 o'clock and he arrived at 10:50, for example, just in time. Okay, not late, but nearly late. And another good example, John finished a project just in time. Just in time. Okay, so there was we use this for a deadline. If the deadline of the project was Friday at 5 o'clock, then perhaps John finished it at Friday at 4 o'clock. Okay, so at the last possible time, immediately before the deadline, immediately before the end of something important. Okay, so very, very common expression. Just in case. This is also very, very common and so very useful. So this means doing something because maybe it will be needed. Or doing something because maybe something else will happen. Now this, I understand this is quite confusing, so you will understand this with an example. So I have an umbrella just in case it rains. Okay, I have an umbrella just in case it rains. So I have an umbrella because maybe it will be needed if it rains. So it's a type of, it's similar to a conditional. Okay, but it's not quite a conditional, but it's a similar meaning. Take a pair of gloves just in case it gets cold. So here we're using an imperative. We're giving advice or an instruction to someone. Take a pair of gloves just in case it gets cold. So take a pair of gloves because maybe they will be needed. Maybe you will need some gloves if it gets cold. Okay? And finally, Mark had a map just in case he got lost. So here we have an example in the past simple. Had. Mark had a map just in case he got lost. And again, this is the past simple of get. Okay, so Mark had a map because maybe he would need a map if he got lost. Okay, just in case. And we sometimes have this without the word just. Okay, but just, the word just adds some emphasis to it. It stresses the meaning slightly. Okay, but we can say, I have an umbrella in case it rains. Just a second. Okay, and we also have two other expressions with the same meaning. Just a moment and just a minute. So the meaning is in fact the same. And it means to ask someone to wait for a short period of time. Okay, so you're asking someone to wait or to be patient for a short period of time, a very short period of time. Okay, so this is a common example. In a bar, Mark would like to order a coffee or a drink. So Mark says, "Excuse me." So he's talking to the waiter. "Excuse me." And the waiter replies, "Just a second, please. Just a second, please." So the waiter is asking Mark to wait just for a short period of time. Okay, perhaps a few seconds or a few minutes maybe. Okay, just a short period of time. And David says, "Hurry up, the film is starting." So he's talking to his girlfriend. They are going to watch a film on TV. And Claire replies, "Just a moment, I'm on the phone. Just a moment, I'm on the phone. So please wait for a short period of time. I am on the phone. I am making a phone call. Okay, I'll be there in a minute. Just a moment, please." Okay, so very, very common. Just my luck. So we say just my luck when something bad happens. Okay, when something bad happens to us. And it expresses the feeling of frustration. Frustration. So we're a little bit annoyed about something. We're frustrated. Something bad has happened and we're not very pleased about it. So here is an example. "I ran for the bus, but I missed it. Just my luck. Just my luck." So it's kind of a very defeatist attitude. We feel quite defeated when we say this. Okay, something has just happened and we're quite upset about it. "My boss saw me arriving late for work. Just my luck." So I arrived late for work and unfortunately my boss was waiting for me. Just my luck. Okay, so I'm very frustrated. I was very unlucky because my boss was waiting for me the one day that I am late. Okay, so yeah, so we're almost mocking ourselves here. We're sort of saying, "Oh, I'm really unlucky." It's just one of those things. This is a very philosophical expression. And it describes a situation that we cannot really explain and that we cannot really change. Okay, so there's a situation, often a bad situation, but we accept it because we cannot explain the situation and we cannot change the situation. So we are philosophical about a situation because we cannot explain it and we cannot change it. Okay, so we accept it. We accept our fate. Okay, so here is an example. So this is a light switch in English. We call it a light switch. So the light switch, Jane says the light switch in the bedroom doesn't work. And Mark says, yes, I know. It's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. You know, yes, I can't really explain it. Can't really change it. So I'm quite philosophical about it. It's just one of those things. It's just one of those problems in life, is what this means. Okay, we're accepting the bad situation. There's no point in worrying. There's no point in getting stressed. Okay, so that's the meaning of this. Claire says, it rained every day during my holiday. And Sarah asks, well, were you angry? And Claire replies, no, it was just one of those things. It was just one of those things. Okay, so Claire seems to accept that there is no point in worrying or being angry about the weather because we cannot control the weather. It's just one of those things. And notice here we have the word was. So we're not saying it is, we're saying it was just one of those things. And that's because the question is in the past simple. So we're talking about the past here. Were you angry? It rained. And so we say, no, it was just one of those things. Okay? So it's just a very philosophical reaction, a calm reaction to a bad situation. And finally, I'm just looking. And we say this to shop assistants. So we're in a shop and we're looking and choosing things. And a shop assistant, so we say this to a shop assistant when they offer to help us. And it simply means, no thank you, I don't need any help. Okay, I'm not actually buying anything. I am simply looking. I am only looking. I'm not thinking about buying, and I don't need any help or advice. So we're politely telling the shop assistant to go away, to leave us in peace. Okay, so don't hassle me with questions and advice. I'm happy looking by myself. So a common example would be in a clothes shop. And the shop assistant asks, what size are you? Would you like to try it on? And Jane replies, no thanks, I'm just looking. I'm just looking. So it's a very common way of just telling the shop assistant, no, leave me alone please, I'm fine. I'm not perhaps going to buy anything. I'm simply looking. Okay? So there we are, that's the end of the lesson. If you are interested in a private online lesson, then click here for information and the prices. And here are some other videos that I recommend.